So, what's your name and what do you do for a living?
My name is Parker J. Lazeski. I own a number of businesses. The one I spend the most focus on is a men's coaching business where I help men create financial freedom without compromising who they are or what matters most to them along the way.
Interesting. And when you say you help men not compromise their freedom, what do you mean exactly?
So,
What?
I'm going to share a little bit of my story.
Yeah.
I had a tough childhood.
Uh-huh.
When I was 4 years old, I was sexually abused.
Oh,
I
interesting.
grew up around addicts. I
Oh,
grew
wow.
up around a tough circumstance.
Interesting.
And that built me into somebody that was obviously facing some challenges.
Uh-huh.
By the age of 12, I was drinking every weekend, and by my late teens, I was hooked on drugs.
That's crazy. I have a similar story almost. That's crazy.
Yeah, totally. So by about 20 years old, I had hit a rock bottom point
Uh-huh.
where it was like, okay, I'm literally Googling how do you fix your brain after doing too many drugs.
I was doing the same thing. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, and it said to meditate, so I started meditating
I
literally
was
every
doing
day
that
for about 10 years.
I was doing that.
But in that journey of coming out of addiction, I essentially replaced my addiction to substances with an addiction to success. Started a number of companies, the largest one being a multi-eight-figure real estate development company. And by the age of 25, I was working 5 hours a week from the beach. I was newly engaged to be married. I was in great shape. It looked like from the outside that I had the life all figured out. And I was on vacation in Florida one day, the 20th floor of a building. And I was out looking over the view, leaning over the railing. And as I was leaning over the railing and I looked down, I had this voice come in the back of my head. It said, maybe you should jump. And I backed away from the railing and I said, what's going on here? Like, what's going on that my psychology is so disconnected from how good my life looks? And it was the tip of the iceberg for me to really start doing some personal work and straightening out my foundations. Because you can create success, but you can create it on the wrong foundations.
Exactly.
My relationship, I found out that my fiance was cheating about 5 months before we were about to get married.
Damn.
I had a bunch of business partnerships that weren't really congruent with what I wanted to do anymore. I didn't really like my business. I was just doing it for money. And I started pulling apart the facade of success I had created and started saying, well, who am I actually? What do I actually care about? What's my actual values? What's my actual vision? What do I actually want to create in my life? And as I started that journey and started creating that version of the life, I felt a nudge that I should go into coaching and help other men, because on my journey from struggling to success, I got a lot of help, and that's how I created all the financial success. But I realized that a lot of people who teach success don't teach you how to do it on the right foundations. They teach you how to compromise and rush on the way there. They teach you how to grind and struggle and hustle. And there's a time and place for pushing hard, but I think a lot of the times people teach you how to create success while compromising. What I teach is how you can create financial abundance in your life as a man, as a business owner, but do it in a way where you're not compromising your values or what matters most to you along the way.
Like, can you talk about how much you make a year? Or like, how much do you make a year?
Yeah, about $1 million.
$1 million?
Yeah.
And then how do you find your clients for coaching?
Really networking.
Networking, just like in-person networking?
Yeah.
Interesting. What's the worst financial situation you've been in, and how did you overcome it? You might have already answered this, but just in case, you never know.
The worst financial situation I've ever been in, and how did I overcome it? I've had multiple times in real estate deals where I had to take on all sorts of like millions and millions of dollars worth of debt in order to get the deal to work. And it was lots of like figuring it out, like taking on a deal that was way bigger than I thought I would ever be able to handle, and have to just like find out how to get the money together, how to get the deal to work. So there's many times where I was multiple millions in debt and had to figure it out. So definitely stressful financial times during those deals.
What was the best financial advice someone gave you that you would want to give to someone else?
The best financial advice I can give people is there's multiple journeys. One is going from struggling to success. I would define struggling as to success. Most people think success is more than it is. If you're making, 10 grand a month, you're there. You have life's not that much different with the Lambo than it is without it. But a lot of people compromise in order to get the Lambo. Once you've gotten to past 100K a year, 10 grand a month, somewhere in there, I would start saying, hey, okay, you're done the journey from struggle to success. How do you actually go on this journey from success to thriving and fulfilled, which is a different journey. You start playing a different game. You start saying, well, I'm not willing to compromise anymore. I'm actually going to do something I love, something I care about. What do I actually want to make my life about? Most people are chasing the dollar until their dying day and waste their life.
Yeah.
So what the best advice I can give you about money and how to make more money is hustle until you make like 10 grand a month, and then find what you actually give a shit about and devote your life to that.